So if you're looking for a product, a particular item that you might be in need of, we have a list of items on the category list. For this demo, I'll just be clicking on MacBook. I can view the product and I can see available products that I can select from. I will select this particular item so that I can see a bit of information about this product. You can see the percentage off, you can see the total amount. I can select how many units of this item I want. All I need to do is just add it to my cart and scroll up to the cart interface. You can either remove it or continue with the item by clicking proceed to checkout. You can either decide to pick up the item or ask for delivery. Now, with delivery, you can easily input your phone number, address, states, and LGA, and then delivery instructions that you need the vendor to take note of, or simply ask for pickup. And then the pickup obviously will display the vendor's location for easy access. We need you to actually accept the terms and conditions before going on to apply for financing. Once you click on apply for financing, it then takes you to our partners widgets. You can input your email, and then your phone number. Your phone number is quite important because we need that to check for credit check. And then you need to select your bank. For this test, I will just be selecting Stanbic IBTC and then input your account number and then proceed to continue. But because this is in test mode, we can't go beyond this. But on the main platform itself, once you've inputted your details, you're expected to sync your bank statements for better credit score. We actually need the credit score so we can understand how much we can give to you for the particular gadget you're requesting for. Once that is done and finalized, the financier will credit your account for you to complete the transaction. Right. I'm not sure my colleague mentioned that there's a repayment plan of about 1 month to 3 months. Once your loan has been applied, has been accepted or approved, your repayment plan starts from when you make a tiny deposit for the item, and repayment takes up to 3 months for the item. Right. So yes, items, also I need to add that you cannot purchase more than one item at a time. You need to complete repayment of a particular item that you've paid for, you've picked along the line before you can pick up another item. Like I said, it's not limited to just this item. It depends on what item you're looking for, and it's also dependent on the location that you're in for whatever item you wish to upgrade to. So that is the whole process about the BNPL process. Chizuru.
Hi, Titi. Thank you. So I just want us to have a recap in a way that it's easy for everyone to remember. So maybe we can start from what are some of the things that people should bear in mind when they are using the buy now pay later service. I know that you mentioned that people cannot take one item at a time, but maybe if we can list maybe 1 to 3 of these things people should have in mind when using the service, that will help. So more like a recap. Maybe if you can just give us 3 things that anyone who wants to use it or everyone who should actually use it should have in mind, I think that we can begin there. So please, can you just
all right, thank you, Chizuru. We need to ensure that you have an active bank that you're going to connect to the financier. Sorry, I keep saying BNPL, the financier, because with your active statement or your active accounts, it helps you get an higher chance of getting an higher loan payment, right? You need to ensure that you have enough pay money to repay, right? And one of the things we try to ensure with getting access to finance is we also need you to complete some criteria on our platform before you can get access to the funds. Now, it is not so difficult. It's just ensuring that you've completed your profile, you've applied for a job, and you've at least been in a community member for at least a month, right? It's just simple criteria to ensure that you are being engaged on Propel, and then we're trying to give back in return for you constantly having interaction with the platform and then your community as well.
Okay, Titi. Thank you for sharing that. So I think the last thing I would ask is, so when it comes to, getting gadgets, what happens or what can someone do in cases where they get a gadget and maybe it's not, tallying with the specification they saw on their dashboard? How do they resolve that? How do they escalate vendor issues? And what should just, be the next line of action?
All right, thank you for that. For that, we have a resolution around trying to ensure that whatever gadgets that you place an order for is the same as you see on the category list. If for any instance there's a mix-up in your gadgets, what you can do is to reach out to us, and then we'll reach out to the vendor to try and fix it up or to try and replace whatever mixed up item you received. For repayments, we also have also have a structure to make repayments done, as long as investigation is done to ensure that whatever item that was delivered to you was the wrong item. Our partners and us, will ensure that refund is done according to the refund policy. We have a refund policy on our terms and conditions, right? So we can also share that as well, just in case you want to understand how delivery and refunds are done.
All right, thank you, Titi. So we know that sometimes life happens. So what can someone do when they're unable to meet up with the terms of payment? Maybe the money I was expecting got delayed, or I had an emergency that I had to sort, using the funds meant for, paying back the BNPL. So what should be my next line of action? Will I be penalized, or what just happens, or what can I do if I can't meet up with the timeline of my payments?
Okay, so if you miss your timeline of payments, like I stated, we have 3 months to make payments back. You become a defaulter, and it kind of scores you low, and there's a high chance that we might not want to give you access to finance once you apply again. Yes, there's a penalty for it. Chizuruma will eventually share what that is, but yes, there's a penalty for you not being able to pay within the stipulated time that you had imputed when you were trying to take the loan.
All right, thank you. Now to the big elephant in the room. What is the interest rate, so that if I'm buying a gadget, for example, a laptop that most of us use either for work or for learning, is the interest rate dependent on the amount of the gadget I buy, or is it a flat rate across board?
Yes, for that, it's a flat rate across. There's the interest rate is a flat rate across. It's not dependent on the item that you buy. We have just one particular interest rates, no matter the costs.
All right. Thank you, Titi. And the very last question before we throw it back to everyone on the call: how do I reach Propel if I need maybe more guidance or support, or if I have questions, or if I run into issues? Do you have, does Propel have a live chat or an email that I can, just write to? And I'm sure that I'll get, immediate response and help.
Yes, we do. We will post the email address for you to reach us on, but also on our website, we have a live chat that's we have someone currently constantly on. If you can't reach us there, definitely via email, we'll get back to you as soon as possible and resolve whatever resolution that we're going through.
All right, Titi, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for demoing that. Okay, so it's right back to everyone on the call. Do you have questions? Are there part of the demo that maybe wasn't clear to you, or some other clarifications that you have, or any questions regarding how to use this, how to escalate vendor issues and whatnot. So you can just, use the raise hand feature, and then we can take the questions one after the other. Anyone? So I'm going to be calling my fibs again to make sure that they didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. Abdullahi, you're actually the one I was about to call. So we're in sync. Yeah, please go on.
All right. So I have two questions. The first one is you mentioned that the a person needs to be a member of a community for at least a month and has applied to a job. So I'm curious, if a person isn't like loyal to a single organization, company, or firm and is like a freelancer or a digital nomad, could they also apply for the BNPL? And the second question is the flat rate interest. Or so, like, what's the rate? You mentioned a flat rate in interest across all products. So what's the rate like?
Okay, so I will take that. We have an interest rate of 12% spread across an initial payment, right? Across the 3 months payment you're supposed to pay back. So it's 12% alongside one initial payment and 3 repayments month.
I got that. So what about my first question?
Do you want to go ahead with that?
I was trying to remind you. You can go on.
Okay, so yes, for BNPL you can actually apply because, well, not necessarily that you have to be I've applied for a job. That's more related to cash loans. But for BNPL, you can take a loan, especially with the fact that you already have a commitment fee that you're going to pay when getting the gadgets. But we try to ensure that you are actually a member of a community, right? So that we know that you are an active member and you are there's somewhat like a tie back to that community, right? So you cannot just come in and say you want to take a BNPL. You have to be in a community for you to complete the transaction.
So basically, a person has to be an active member of a community and uh, prove and established income flow.
I missed the last part.
Yeah, first commitment.
Yes.
First, got it. Thanks.
Right, thank you, Abdullahi. Thank you, Titi, for handling that. And also, just to add to everything Abdullahi you said, I know you mentioned, being a freelancer, you particularly use that keyword. And it's just to let you know that, freelancers also, join communities for different reasons, sports, professional growth, and whatnot. So even if you're a freelancer, at least you have a bank account that, is connected to what you do and all that. So just to ensure that you get the gadgets you need, that's the account that you should be using. We're not necessarily saying that you should have the money at the point of purchase, right? The essence of just that initial debit is to ensure that it's an active account and that you're also, able to, keep up with payment. And then once your community is, active and a part of, once your community is, part of Propel's, I don't know, community board, let me use that word, then you're eligible for it. So it doesn't matter if you're a freelancer or if you're a 9 to 5 or you're an executive. So far as your account has like a steady flow of income, you're good to go and you're qualified. You've met one of the criteria for that. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much. Okay. Do we have any more questions before we go? We're not even going yet, but do we have more questions on the buy now pay later service? what you can expect from vendors. I'm surprised nobody is asking if there's delivery because that's a common thing. Okay, maybe because I live in Lagos and we all hate the stress of going out, but I was waiting for someone to ask, hey,
Yeah,
can
I live in Abuja, so I don't know if it applies for us here in Abuja.
Yes, definitely it does. I apologize. Let me just bring it back. Because of your location, it's always easier for you to look for items or vendors that are closer to where you are. But our vendors are willing to actually deliver to whatever location you're in Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
even if you live in Ibadan, don't worry, yeah. You should expect delivery. And next thing about the what for everyone. So if you are interested, this is the right time for you to actually log in and begin to actually try it out and use it too. So the first thing to do is to sign up. If you do not have a Propel account already, or if you haven't signed up before. So just sign up with the link I put in the chat box. I'm going to put again so that you can sign up with that. And I didn't know you still ask me how many of
So I can't really hear. Somebody's mic is turned on.
And there's background noise coming from somewhere. It's turned up.
handed that. Thank you. All right. And I was waiting for someone to ask if we deliver inverters. Are we not Nigerians again? And nobody
My
actually.
own is start my own challenge the gadgets. If I qualify, that would be the internet infrastructure. I'm thinking of Smile or Spectranet. That's majorly at least my most urgent. It's affecting my work. So I'm using all these mobile networks and they are not very good.
I can totally relate, honestly. And this is solid feedback because this isn't, part of our value suite. But I'm going to take this back to the team, and we're actually going to do some research and just make sure that as much as you want it, other people are in need of it. And I assure you that we take feedback seriously. And if it's something that is valuable, you would see it, added in, the coming months. So I can totally relate to the NTN problems. It seems like once it rains, NTN just turns into something else. But yes, thank you so much for mentioning that. And just before the last thing, we also have like inverters, right? So I don't know if we'll remember, but sometime around, I think that was June, late May, early June, NLC was on strike and everyone's power was cut, right? And it was such a sad, challenging moment. You'd go to workstations and then it's crowded. And if you can't work in a crowded place, that was such an issue, right? So one of the things we have, when it comes to the buy now pay later service is also inverters, so that you can actually have, at least basic setup, even if it can't power your refrigerator, maybe your iron and whatnot, at least it's able to power your TV, your laptop, and your phone. So just to also let you know, and then also smartwatches, you can also get that. So from laptops, phones, to tablets, to inverters, smartwatches, and actually television also. So if you need all of that, please just sign up so that you can see all the products we have and all that are available, and you can begin to place your order. And once again, if you have any issues, you can there's a chat bot on our website, and there's also like our support email. We have someone on standby who would answer. I don't say at any time, but someone who is always available that will be able to respond in the quickest time ever, so that whatever issue you have is resolved. So I'm just going to impute our support email once again, so that if you have any issues and even any questions right after this session, so that you can, share, and there'll be someone to walk you through it, or someone that will answer any questions that you have. And right before we go, or right before we close the curtain, actually, we're just going to play a very quick game, right? And the essence of that is, we just, once again, I just want to understand again, some of the problems you had with BNPL. Of course, we've gathered feedback, but we know that there's always room for more. So maybe we can share one of our most hilarious experiences.
I want to please ask on I don't know whether it has been mentioned, there was a network problem. I was logged out. So I don't know whether it was covered when I was out. It's the issue of payback, the payback. When that's what I'm concerned about. How do we pay? What's the payback arrangement? Is it that you monitor our jobs, or you get a job for us, or you speak to our employer, or and then the rates at which, is it deduction? How is the payback being done? So I don't have that information yet.
Titi, do you want to take that?
Okay. Yes. So where you're expected to make a payment in 3 months, and payments are deducted every month from the account that you provide with us.
Okay, is it my personal account or
Yes, your personal account.
Okay.
I had
Okay.
stated that for you to get access to more credits, it is advisable for you to put an account that is very much active, right? And
Okay.
if you're saying you want an item that is 100,000 and you're eligible for 80,000 naira, the activeness of your account determines if you get up to that 80,000 naira, right? And
Okay.
with the account that you've placed in the financier's hands for credit score, it then determines from that account, they're going to be taking deductions every month for the next 3
Okay.
months. Yes.
And then another thing is, God forbid it, in case of default, what's the penalty? It's money we are talking about here.
Yes. So first of course, your interest rate is going to go up, one, but it then reduces your chances of getting access to loans again on our platform. But yes, there'll be a penalty for defaulting on your loan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does that work, Samuel? Were all your questions answered, in clear terms? You're muted in case if you're speaking.
Okay, you said?
Like the answers, you need us to make more explanations.
My next, I can't hear properly.
Anybody else hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I'm hearing slightly. Yes.
Okay. So I was asking if you got the answers to the questions you needed.
Yes. I just knew that there's supposed to be a penalty, so that's what. That's what.
I like the God forbid disclaimer.
Obviously.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Sabo. Thank you for asking that. And once again, if you try it out and run into any issues, or you get confused and can't move past a certain stage, please use the support email I put in the chat box, propel at support@propel.community rather, and just email us. You can also use the chat button on our website, and we'll be more than happy to help. And then there's a link in the chat box. Finally, it's just to get your feedback so that we can always improve, because the essence of this is to make sure that we're serving you in the way you want to be served, that our rates are fair, the repayment schedule and timeline, is, what you were looking for, and maybe also areas of improvement where you think that we can improve services, as Samuel has mentioned, like ISPs that we can add and whatnot. We just want to know so that we can keep getting better and expanding to, meet at least most of your needs. So the link is in the chat box. Just help us fill it quickly, and you'll be done in just 60 seconds. That's all. We don't have so much questions on it, and you'll be done then. And I think the last thing I will talk about is the cash loans. I'm not going to do any demo because it is currently in beta. It's something we've worked on, but you know how people say soft launch? We're just soft launching it for now. But the essence of it is, we've given people have used the BNPL service and we've gotten feedback. And one of it is that beyond getting gadgets, people transition from jobs. For example, my last job was a hybrid role, and I transitioned to a remote role. And you might think that it's sufficient maybe for you to stay in the sitting room or whatnot to work, but over time you might realize that doesn't, it's not so effective for productivity. And so we had to launch cash loan so people can be able to, buy other things they need to make both work and life easier. So certain things like a work table, a work chair, maybe certain lightning, maybe, maybe you're an instructor, you're a software developer and you're teaching people, you're mentoring people and, all of that and whatever the needs are, you can also take cash loans from us. So this one is not just a gadget, it is money sent to your account so that you can do what you need to do or you want to do with it. And it's also live, it's open and it's accessible. So even from your finance tab, I think I will just share my screen a bit so that we can look into that. We can just see how to access it quickly. And then we will just, take it from there. So yeah, so it's also part of your finance tab. Yeah, and all you need to do is click on finance once again. So remember the login step. If anyone has forgotten, please let me know so that we can just take that quickly. And from your menu, just click on finance and then your code. So if you're using the financial services, if you're using financial services for the first time, you will need to set a code that is unique to you. And the essence of this is security so that nobody logs into your account by any chance and maybe buys a device or takes out a loan, without your knowing or your permission. So if you're using the service for the first time, you'll be required to set a PIN or a code that is unique to you. And then for returning users, each time you need to make use of this service, you just be required to impute the code once again. So we can be sure that you are the one using your account. And then in cases where you have forgotten your code, of course, this happens, you can always, reset your code and that will be it. Now, right now, I'm just going to click on continue. This is for buy now, pay later, and this is cash loan, right? So as I said, it is still in beta, which means that it's still something with sort of like soft launch, but we're still, gathering feedback, iterating and improving on. So, but you can make use of the service and the interest rate is 4.5%. So once again, buy now, pay later service interest rate is, if I'm correct, 12%, and you can spread your payments across 3 months, right? And then there's an initial debit that is taken out of your account to ensure that your account is working and that your account is active. And thereafter, we're not taking the full money at initial debit, so you need not bother. It is just a little amount just to make sure that the account is functional. And once you pay that initial deposit, you will get your gadget immediately. So that's another super duper amazing thing about it. We're not waiting for you to complete your entire payment before you get your product or your gadget. Once you pay that first initial amount required, then your product will be delivered to you if that's the option that you choose, or you can simply go to the vendor's physical location and then pick up your gadget. Whilst for cash loans, the interest rate is a flat rate of 4.5%, and it's also open and it's accessible. And as you can see, once I click on cash loans, then I am able to begin to take out loans. So I've gone through the initial flow of setting up my account, linking up my account and all of that. So whenever I'm in need of money, I can simply come to Propel and I can take out a loan. So every single thing happens from your dashboard. As you can see throughout Titi's demo and what I'm showing you now, it's not taking me to an external site. So everything is done from your dashboard. And it is from this same dashboard that you can apply to jobs. You can track the status of your application. You can use the buy now, pay later service, and then you can use cash loans. So we can also go back so that we can see what the live environment looks like. And once again, I'm just going to input my code so we can see what buy now, pay later service looks like live, so that if you're still dilly-dallying or considering if you should actually create an account or take out something, this is proof that it actually works. So this is my delivery address, and then these are all product suites across board from MacBooks actually to laptops, desktops, and whatnot, down right to inverters, as I mentioned. And you can just, begin to take this out and begin to make use of it. So there's no need for you to keep making use of a laptop that isn't doing much for you. Simply use the buy now, pay later service and just spread out your payment conveniently. You don't even have to maybe write down your payment date so that you don't miss it and all. Right before a debit will be taken or will be done from your account, we will send you a reminder to just let you know. And once is your repayment date, it will simply be taken from your account. So you need not bother about everything else or stress yourself or try to remember repayment dates so that you don't default, right? So I think that's that about it. And I think we're just going to call it a day right now. Thank you to everyone who stayed and for everyone who attended this call and makes use of the service between now and Monday. There's going to be what do they even call it? More like a deduction or I don't know on your interest rate. So we're just going to give you less than the usual interest rate because you attended, you stayed through the event, and then you also, made use of the service. And then in addition to that, we're also giving out a free interview prep tool. So what that does for you is just if you're looking to get a job, if you're in the job market, that tool will help you prepare for jobs adequately. So you can also, use the email, and we will also email everyone that attended with a link to it so that you can begin to, access it. Once more, to make use of the buy now, pay later service, please ensure you have a Propel account and you can begin to make use of it. So I'm going to put the sign up or the sign in link once again so that we can maximize it. And then I would also share the support email so that we can maximize it. All right, does anybody have any last thing to say or any question that maybe just came to your head before we go? All right.
Everything is clear. Everything is clear.
You Disses. I don't know. I do Disses Academy, but I don't know if it's Samuel or someone
Yeah,
else.
it's Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the session. So insightful.
All right. So the link is in the chat box for you to sign up or sign in. And then our support email once again, in case if you run into any issues or if you have questions that you'd rather ask, one-on-one. So that's it. And then also, yeah, the feedback form so that we can always improve and make it better for you. All right. Thank you, everyone, especially to my OGs, Daniel, Abdullahi, and every other person, Samuel too, that stayed true, and Annabelle, and every other single person that made this call. Thank you. And
Yeah,
we appreciate. And
you're
also just
welcome.
you. We also host like more events, career focused events once every 2 months. So from interviewing to technical tests to writing CVs to design sessions to product sessions and whatnot. So you can subscribe to our Luma page just so that you stay abreast of every event that we have because you're always going to get value from it. Thank you, everyone. And as the cool kids say, have a good Friday. TGIF, actually. Bye.
Bye.